up, everyone? Welcome back to Corked Stats, powered by the Mayo Media Net here on YouTube, presented by Jock Market, the brand new daily fantasy app where Wall Street meets Main Street meets 161st Street, and you actually make money. Wow, what a novel idea, man. Download the app for free. They're going to give you the first $100 matched for free, and if it's free, it's for me. Use the promo code MMN, Mayo Media Net, and then we'll meet you on Wall Street, baby. We are in there every single day, and it begins here on the show. Cork Stats, the first brick in the foundation every single day as we try to build up to the sky, building that sand castle right on the shoreline, knowing tomorrow's going to come away and whoosh, wash away the work. But never mind that, man. We are here to do the thing that we do. Me, you, and the Cork Stats crew with the three pillars of profit. We're starting off with daily, DFS, and Jock Market. Let's dive right on in. Remember, all the names that we drop are viable across the board. If you make it through the gauntlet of filters that is my player model, you go with it, baby. If you can play Jock Market, then you could jump on the Patreon page with me. Don't worry, you don't have to pay. It's Freetreon, Metreon, you and, Metreon doing the darn thing. But it's really kind of important that you see how we do it. We have star ratings and pricings. All this is really thanks to Pat Mayo giving me the avenue to provide all this stuff to you. But if you can't play Jock Market, these players are all viable, total base plays. Some of them are half base total base props. Some of them are 1.5 total base props, but those are plus money, which we love. You could dial down the risk if you're going to get a plus 135. A lot of those hit, especially if you're taking, a bunch of them like we're going to lay out here today. We're definitely making money, man. It's really cool. There's a lot of people applying the information here in different ways, and that's what I think is so very important. I cover the entire spectrum. It's kind of the thing that we do. Not every game opens itself up to profiting in betting. It might be a player thing. It might be a Jock Market thing. It might be a fantasy baseball thing. We're going to do it all. Let's dive up into the daily stacks. We're starting with the Let's Go. Mets go facing Aaron Sanchez. Sorry about that. 414 batting average, 1050 OPS year-to-date versus righties, and that's exactly where we're going to go. Give me Big Meat Pete Alonso, the Polar Bear, Starling Marte, and Nimmo have all been doing work. I think the Mets are going to get that right today. Next up, Los Tigres, Detroit Tigers from Rock City against Zach Logue. Check these numbers out. 58% fly ball, 26% barrel, almost 3 home runs per 9 allowed. Now, granted, it's an extremely tiny sample set, but it still yielded a 2.84 ERA. That's not going to stick. The under on this game is way too low for guys that have not really pitched at the major league level. Give us Robbie Grossman, Heimer Candelario, and Willie Castro. Oh yeah, love those guys. They will be at the cheaper setting. And again, all of these players viable in DFS. I've been getting away from DFS, but really just as constituted, I'm finding now I'm playing DraftKings every single night because I really like winner take all. Not all the players that we cover are on Jock Market. I mean, that's part of the reason why I like it. Because the slate is finite, which is a good thing. But if you have names, and again, winner take all, which DFS kind of feels like winner take all anyway. I mean, it really does. Who wants to finish in 18th place and win $13 or something? It makes no sense. I'd rather bet much less and go for the W. You could play against 100 people for $1 when it takes all $100, like 112 people, something like that. There's $9 games against 24 people when it gets $200. I mean, and then in Jock Market, the individual players, all we're looking for is a profit. Guys like Grossman, Candelario, and Castro will be at that middle or low setting. Grousman will probably be at the $5 range. Candelario and Castro might be even below that. Whereas a guy like Alonso is going to cost you $7 generally or above, especially in a good matchup. So for the people really just starting on the promo cash, I wouldn't go for Alonso. For the more well-funded players, let's say, or even more experienced players, you could get with those players lasting on Alonso and players of that ilk if you are just starting. It doesn't mean you can't take them. Go with single shares. Don't over-lever yourself on expensive assets because that's how you're going to get in trouble. We don't want you to have to spend any more than the $100. If you play really smart with the $100 promo, you're going to take off with this. All right, let's get back up into the stacks. It's that same game. It's the Elephants balancing on beach balls, the Oakland Athletic righties against Joey Wentz. This is his major league debut. Again, the markets have just overcorrected to the unders. He has 20 innings pitched in the minors thus far, been okay. 4.12 ERA, 107 whip, 34% K rate is awesome. 13% walk rate is not. Coupled with a 2 home runs per 9, I mean, that's just not great. That's kind of what we're looking for to attack from guys coming up. Yeah, the K rate is there. I know people are just not in love with these offenses, but give me Murphy, give me Pinder, give me Kevin Smith. Again, what we love so much about it. Now, Murphy checks the catcher box in DraftKings tonight. So that's why you could see how we're building this for all platforms. Some of these guys may not be on total base props. A guy like Kevin Smith might be a half base prop. Could be easy. Get it in the second inning. All right, next up, Twins righties. They've been raking against Urquidy. The Astros has really been struggling with fastball location to righties. And now you see how the split attack is not always, what do you just search lefty-righty? That's not always the case. It's a little more nuanced than that. Urquidy's having trouble placing the fastball. And when you miss, trying to go away to righties as a righty, the miss is in over the middle. It's been really bad. Both the four-seamer and the cutter getting destroyed. In fact, he has 3 different pitches with a 750 X slug, 400 WOBA, 915 OPS to righties year to date. Give me Polanco. Give me Arias. If Buxton's out, give me Celestino. How great is that pick for DraftKings? He'll probably be popular. Last thing on the differences in these games. When it comes, in particular, to players like Celestino, I don't know if he's on the Jock Market slate, but you could even say Arias, the same kind of, not well-known, maybe lesser-known, kind of player that still is in a good spot and could return a profit. In DraftKings, the entire world is going to pile on this guy, right? Celestino, let's say he's going to lead off. The entire world piles on him. 100% ownership. Does nothing for us. It really is kind of a waste. That's not what we're looking for. If a player is cheap in Jock Market, again, inherent leverage. If there is demand, the price goes up. So a guy like Arias or Celestino, we only like if they're cheap. If they become expensive, we want the market to have them. See how great chalk is in Jock Market? It's why we're constantly making money, no joke. All right, last stack, we got the St. Louis righties. Now, they have struggled a bit against righties, but Watkins struggled really, man. 1,000 OPS, 400 WOBA year to date against righties. We're looking for O'Neill, Yepez, and Bader. O'Neill is going to be expensive. He could be worth it. Yepez and Bader should be cheap, although word is out on Yepez. He was a $5 player, which I think is fine. I just wouldn't go anything above that. Let's not be chasing the dream, everybody. All right, so we got some stacks, right? Mets righties, Tigers righties, Oakland righties, Twins righties, Cardinals righties tonight. All the players, I think we even had like a nice little mix with Castro and Candelario. We had Murphy, Arias. We have like infielders and outfielders. We have a whole little nice mix there. I think we got you a whole daily lineup. All right, next up, it's Wacky Wednesday. So what we're going to do today is jump back into the advanced leaderboard, but on the hitter side. So Tuesday, we looked at the advanced leaderboard on the pitching side, and I invite everyone to just check it out. You could just zoom out to the YouTube video and kind of look at the screenshot and try and put in as much work as possible to make it as easy for you to follow as possible, even if it means taking a screenshot, which I know some people have said has been pretty helpful, and then they just kind of refer back to it, which is fine if you don't even need the analysis, let's say the second time around. Again, if you're hanging out here, we just expect you to be really sharp. Duh. All right, let's dive into this leaderboard on the hitter side. This is last 21 days. Again, I'm trying to maybe put a spotlight on not only stats that not everyone has access to, but then stats that maybe not everyone has access to the ability to time split. Right, we're getting to that point of the season where all year-to-date things may mean less and less. If a player was off to a slow start, or maybe they were injured or getting acclimated, those are things we want to be looking at. We don't just automatically lop off pieces of the season, but I like to incorporate everything. The answer to everything is really a weighted average if you're trying to describe something to me. All right. Left-hand side for the audio-only listeners, please make sure you rate, review, subscribe to the podcast, MLB Picks and Bets, Mayo Media Net, and then also hit the like button here on YouTube, and please subscribe to the channel. Get up in the comments. Let us know what we're doing that you like or don't like. Seriously, this is all here for you. If you want something different, you're going to get something different. I'm not really stubborn. You'd be surprised. I do my most learning from sharp followership. All right, so you got our blast rate on the left is the leftmost column, and we'll look at the right-hand side, the middle as well. Sorry, it was the worst last 21. Blast, if you're unfamiliar, are the ideal subset of barrels. It's the barrel of barrels, the Cadillac of barrels, if you're from my neck of the woods. So we really want to be looking at this right now because power has been at a premium where maybe we wouldn't just be chasing this if it were so prevalent. Right now, it's not. So there's a lot of really good players not hitting well. We kind of want to circle the guys that are. Man, I don't want to get off into the weeds, but one thing I've heard some smart people talk about is there's this obsession, of course, with the ball, which is part of it. We're also hearing a lot about like launch angle, but I think there's a misconception there. People think launch angle is just swing it path. It's not. It's a lot of times where you hit the ball. Think of a pool ball. I'm not very good at pool, but I do understand that where you hit the pool ball is the direction that it goes in, right? That's how you gauge direction, is where you strike on the ball. So it's the same thing for a pitch. So players that were aiming at the bottom of the ball to increase launch angle, the players that were doing that, they're kind of being punished. All right, so we got blast rate, Rowdy Tellez right at the top, leading the league. So if you had him just on the fringe, or if he's available in 12-team leagues, you're adding him, you're starting him. If he goes in the tank, you sit him, and then if it sustains, you lose him. But don't be stubborn in a new environment. Again, we might be talking about hitters that are adjusting to a new environment that is helping them in a major way. So Tellez, Aaron Judge, Trout, Stanton, and that's right. You see the list kind of validate itself. Wisdom, Buxton, Harper, Franmil Reyes, there you go, Franmil Reyes. The blast rate is there on contact. Now, he's not making enough contact, although it's starting to turn around. If Franmil Reyes is hanging out there, don't allow that. Hunter Renfroe, Jock Peterson, Brandon Marsh. Brandon Marsh looks legit. Don't let him fly out there. Schwarber, Austin Riley, Pavin Smith. Same thing now. Pavin Smith, not a 10-team guy. I think he's rosterable in 12-team. You're probably rolling him in and out. I don't know if you want to call it streaming or whatever. 15 teams, he must be owned. I saw him out there in a league or two. Don't allow that. My boy Willie Adames, just what we were looking for, looking great. Cody Bellinger and Christian Yelich neck and neck in the Belly versus Yelich sweepstakes. Rounded out with Max Stassi and Jorge Soler. Stassi just hit the IL. If he gets dropped, I think you should add him if you have an IL spot, because I do think he's a C1 if you're the type of player that has been streaming trashola. Jorge Soler starting to wake up. I believe guys hit in bunches. The weather's getting warmer. Again, he could be making an adjustment to the ball. Get with Soler if he's out there. I think now would be even a time to try and buy low in a trade. All right. The middle column, the worst blast rate, of course, because we haven't had that big of a sample, are all zeros. So there were more zeros than spots that I had. So I took 20 of the most fantasy relevant players with zero blasts. And I don't think there's a single one of them, maybe outside of one of my favorite players coming in, that we should be worrying about. Maybe two. Let's dive into it. I'm going to read you the list, and you'll see what I mean. Why it's important to see these stats, and why it's important to weigh them, but not to overreact to them at all. It's Bregman, Meadows, Elias Diaz, Kike Hernandez, Dalbec, Witt Jr., Javi Baez, Segura, Votto, Aaron Hicks, Kybert Ruiz, Ketel Marte, Cronenworth, Colton Wong, Arozarena, Goldschmidt, Simeon, Trea Turner, Trent Grisham, Tommy Edman. Really interesting list of people with zero. Not sure how I let Aaron Hicks slip on there. That must have been Yankee bias. Sorry. Though, a guy leading off for the Yankees should have fantasy viability. Hasn't really been that good. Well, the Yankees are rolling. Anyway, back to the goose eggs in this middle column there. You can't overreact to any of this stuff. And I think what we've seen is power is tough this year. And you can't discard or overreact to really any of this stuff. Right? So guys like Bregman, you're rolling out on him. He's been pretty good anyway. The name I was mentioning before was Bobby Dalbec. And a guy like him that I really liked. And had you told me that we'd see the disciplinary games that we hoped for, I would have been over the moon. And it hasn't come. I haven't benched him in 15-team leagues. I haven't dropped him. Sorry, I have benched him everywhere. I'm sorry. You cannot play him right now. You have to drop him in 12-team leagues, I believe. And that's what it is. Other than that, I think all these other guys, maybe minus Hicks, I could see moving on from. The rest of these guys, I'm holding on tight. Trent Grisham in point leagues, I could see getting rid of. You'd want to hold him for the steals. I don't think you've gotten them yet. So blast rate will become more important as we get a bigger sample and we really expect less and less zeros. We'll run this board again and again, but give you an idea of how prevalent the lack of power is out there. So if you have a couple of these guys and thinking, man, what's going on? There's a lot of it going on. It's not just you. All right, last column, MLB best ex-WOBA last 21. You know what this is, the best amalgamated stat that we have. Now, granted, you can't use this apples to apples the way that we have, but on the sliding scale, it still absolutely matters. If you're not using this and have thrown it in the garbage, you're absolutely doing yourself a disservice. So let's dive into the ex-WOBA last 21. It's Freddie Freeman, Rowdy Tellez. Of course, you're adding Rowdy Tellez, 552 expected WOBA, last 21, jumping off the page, pop the hood, looking good. Holy cow, man. Manny Machado, Jordan Alvarez, Tim Anderson, all the best. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, Christian Yelich, who's sandwiched in there? Pavin Smith. You gotta add these guys. Don't let the bad jersey fool you, and don't let people telling you not to chase recency fool you. You chase it in times of desperation, right? You're not dropping him for anybody good that's hitting, but you drop him for someone that sucks or an open spot. Yes, that's what you do, rather than be stubborn, right? Rather than roll out Dalbec because you liked him coming in, you grab Pavin Smith and you start him at the corner. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, there's Josh Naylor, 503 ex-WOBA, and these numbers were a couple days behind. It's 3 home runs since then. Naylor must be added everywhere. Remember, super touted prospect, and now I think he's only 24, getting all the playing time. Don't be stubborn. Yandy Diaz, we don't get the lift that we want, but he's hitting it hard all the time. He's always playing. Got to get with Diaz if he's available. Hard to start him at the 1B, definitely a CI for sure, or a UT2. Juan Soto, Max Kepler, Trout, Eric Hosmer, Byron Buxton. Hosmer's probably the one here I'm not really buying. I would be shipping off if I could. Adames, Gleyber Torres, Jock Peterson, and Ty France. Ty France really coming along, thinking his breakout is upon us. So there's the fantasy stuff. Just to give you an idea of guys that we want to be circling, guys that you want to be getting behind. Make sure that you're not allowing Pavin Smith to be out there. Look at Max Staszi's. And depending on the news and the injury, if it's only a minimal stay and you could upgrade to C, that's a great way to do it. Danny Jansen, also right on the cusp of coming back. Circle him. Get ready to add him. We are going to talk about 10 and 12 team ads tomorrow on the show. Let's dive into the betting board. That's the third pillar of profit. You see the parlay up on the day. I even put my betting ticket up there because, man, we got annihilated the last couple days. I don't know what's going on. 2 days ago, it was awful beats. You will hardly ever hear me talk about results. But that White Sox result was pretty epic, right? 6 runs in the 9th or whatever, and Hendricks just annihilated, and Naylor, first player ever to hit 2-3 run homers. One was a grand slam, but 2-3 or more home runs after the 8th inning ever in the history of baseball. And anytime you get an ever in the history of baseball, it's really impressive. You're talking about the sample is just so incredible. So I wanted to at least show you that, I'm going down with you. You know what I mean? I really don't just throw this stuff. I really don't. And it's why, these things are so measured. And I don't be taken by the number. I do bet a lot because I have it's a small business of mine, and I've actually scaled it back, having built other businesses. Which is funny, people ask me, I think this was today's feather in the cap. Today's lesson is going to be just that. How do you do it, sports betting? It's very difficult, and it's not something that I do as a sole, source of income is what I should say. I don't do that. I have at points, and it's very stressful. And when I was doing it, I wanted to make sure that I had other things that were assured. So again, very open about my process, and I think that's why you see some of the boring stuff, right? When you see the decimal points that we're betting, and you check out the Patreon page, and you see the stuff that we're doing, and you're betting 0.20. Well, 0.2 was a lot of money if, depending on what your bankroll is, right? If a unit is truly a percent, then, if you're betting $10, it's $1,000 roll, right? But a lot of people are like, I'm not betting $10, you know what I mean? Well, $10 it is, that's what it is, right? Because $10 is 10% of 100, and it's 1% of 1,000. So how many people are really doing the math correctly in this and whatever? And I just stuck like 17 feathers in your cap. Hopefully I just started brush fires in the minds of men and women all over YouTube to think about responsibility in betting and then expectations, and how when they say it takes money to make money, which really is the truth, you just don't want to be betting more Yeah, you want to be betting more, but because it's a function of a greater bankroll, and not because you're betting more as a function of higher raising your risk. So whatever. There's 19 lessons in one for everybody. If you want to be sustainable and do this stuff where it's a source of income, like that's how you do it. I'm sorry, the answer is not because we pick winners and see into the future. That's just not how you do it. All right. So first thing we alluded to, what we thought about Oakland and Detroit over 7.5. Really just insanely low. This is just a real overcorrection. Logues got beat up. It's only 6 1/3, but the stats are just awful jumping off the page. But it's not even about picking on these guys. He's a rookie, right? He's a rookie. So we're talking about a guy in his second career start, a guy making his first career start. Yes, they're not against the best offenses, but Detroit is starting to hit right now. So like an offense that's good, I don't know. I just can't. Again, I know it's dead ball, a sopping wet ball of hair, kind of flopping around there. But listen, man, give me the 7.5. You're still getting a good price on it. I don't know. I just don't. Listen, there's always a good chance debut guys get beat up. Next up, we got Boston. I know they really have not been great, but we have the pitching edge here. Love Eovaldi for sure. You can check the price in the F5. That's viable as well. Boston bats really have been great, but neither has Atlanta. Atlanta 87 WRC plus, 28% strikeout rate last 78% in zone contact rate. That's 220 plate appearances. So I think Eovaldi is going to get it done with the strikeouts. Maybe we got to look at the K prop for Eovaldi as well. Atlanta pretty free swing. Then last, I'll give you a quick one here because we do have another minute. I was going to get with Houston right again. This is the first look parlay. I don't get to run everything. I get up so early in the morning to start running as many filters as I can because I need info from last night in order to really get everything sharp. And it's not good. I don't just throw everything. It's numbers included, but I always have this stuff kind of circled that I like. And I saw Urquidy for Houston. I thought, wow, 130 or whatever it was. That looks like maybe something we could back. Man, Urquidy's been kind of a mess. If you notice, I'm trying to give you a little more info as I get better at automating the process and kind of combining everything together. I had something. We said it before. We were talking about it with righties, but he's living in the middle of the plate. His heart rate on the season is up over 28. That's really way too high. Right, better than one out of every 4 pitches is landing in that X spot. I'm going to get away from Urquidy for now. We can attack him in daily and jock market formats. Give me Michaelis to get right and the Cardinals against Baltimore. The Baltimore offense has been okay, but Michaelis really, really, really plays into this ball. Like, this is exactly what, he was like built for this, right? Like throwing the lead ball, keeping it down on the ground. You're going to get all the double plays. Baltimore, though, hitting well, they're still not very disciplined. Michael is especially tough on righty, so I think they're going to have a tough time. The Baltimore bullpen is not very good, so I think Cardinals get right today against Watkins, who I'm really not a fan of. And I do like a bounce back for the Cardinals as well, right? Even when we're not a fan of an offense, guys that are good, they just got mopped. Like, I'd be less into this bet if the Cardinals scored 10 yesterday, right? I'm less into that, right? I'd rather kind of reverse and look for rectangular action than look for perpetual continuation. Well, we'll stuck one last feather, pop in the back of the hat before we get out of here. Thanks, everybody. That'll do it. So remember, Oakland, Detroit, 7.5. Boston, money line. St. Louis, full game run line, -1.5 for the audio-only listeners. Didn't forget you. -110, +100, -110, respectively. So I'm trying to give plays that would stand on their own if we do have full unit players. So I really hate juice. Juice does belong in parlays, in my opinion, but I do have standalone stuff here. So I think, I always try to put stuff out that I think if we hit them both, I think we get 2 out of 3, and I think this is a profitable venture. If not, the parlays at +649. Hopefully we hit it today, and it pays for the week, right? So I hope that this is a profitable venture. And that always is going to be what you're going to get with me, and I think that's kind of why, slowly but surely, people are kind of gravitating to this thing of ours, like this thing that we do. Betting is supposed to be fun, but it should be responsible, and the best way to make it fun to me is to keep being able to do it without having to go to your wife or your husband or your significant other, hat in your hand, crying about how you got smoked out. Yeah, like I lost yesterday. Yeah, okay, like 110 win teams lose single games 15-0. I'm not sure what the point is. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what the point is of that. It doesn't matter, right? The season is not determined by that. So again, future performance is not determined by past performance. Those are not correlated. What the process is and the input is. So that's why we keep doing this thing of ours, man. Remember, 5 hours to prepare for something. 5 hours to chop down a tree. I'm going to spend 4 hours sharpening the axe, everyone. All right, I hope we made some money today. We got our stacks, we got our fantasy players, and we've got some parlays. Let's cash those tickets, everybody. I catch you on the flip side. Remember, please download the Jock Market app. Get that match up for $100. I know many of you have. Use the code MMN for Mayo Media Net. And just catch me in there. Check out the Patreon page where we're not just even throwing the names at you. You're getting the prices and the applications. You could tweet at me if you... I don't mind answering DMs, but DMs fill, and then it's just one person that gets the attention. Tag me on Twitter, and we'll do it for everybody. Again, it's not my time that I'm trying to monopolize. I just got to share it with everybody. So please rate, review, and subscribe to the audio stuff. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the animated thumbs up button. Get up in the comments. Let Patty M know what kind of a great job we're doing, right? We having fun or what, baby? Loving every bit of this. All right, man. I catch you on the flip side. We'll check you tomorrow. Hopefully, I see you at the cashier window. And remember, when you work this hard, it feels a lot less like luck, yo. Peace.